Why, hello, everybody. My name is Seth Weiner, and I am your auctioneer. Welcome back to Coffee Connections. It's Tuesday, February 16th. I think it's the 16th. I'm going to call it the 16th. And no, I'm not in outer space, but gosh, do I feel like I am. I'm actually in St. Petersburg. I'm working my way back to Atlanta, and next week I will be back. I'll be airing back from my home studio, and I'll be able to change out into another color jacket. Some folks are like, I thought you have different jackets. What's going on? Well, I do, and they'll be back. Excited to share. The season is getting busy. Lots of fun stuff happening. Folks are embracing virtual. Yes, I mean it. Like a lot of nonprofits I've been working with are embracing the virtual fundraising and are trying different things. And I'm really excited about our guest today because it's about communities in schools. That's the organization, the Atlanta branch here. But the idea of communities in schools, I love it. And I say this because I say the virtual fundraising, some of the schools I'm working with are embracing the fact that they need to raise money, but they also have to build community. And how do you do that in the virtual world? So another time I'll talk about it, but I will share one thing. I'm very excited. I've got two organizations. We're doing virtual color wars. Yeah, virtual color wars, sleepaway camp style, which is building community. Parents of, if you think about parents at schools, these kids are in schools for years to come. How do the parents get to know each other? It's so important. And so something like this not only raise money, but they build connection relationships. But that's enough about me. It's time for me to introduce our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Brown, the CEO of Communities in Schools Atlanta. Now, Frank Brown is the Chief Executive Officer of Communities in Schools of Atlanta. The organization's mission is to surround students with a community of support, empowering them to stay in school and achieve in life. Gosh, that's wonderful. CIS of Atlanta is part of the nation's largest and most effective organization dedicated to keeping kids in school and helping them succeed in life. CIS site coordinators work with local schools to improve attendance, which I'm very interested how that works in the virtual world, behavior and academic performance, while connecting students and their families to basic and critical resources. Now, during the current academic year, CIS of Atlanta has programs at over 55 schools within this city of Atlanta: Fulton County, Clayton County, DeKalb County public school systems. Under Brown's leadership, CIS of Atlanta has invested in innovative new programs and partnered with private corporations and other nonprofits to increase its impact. Also, under Brown's leadership of CIS of Atlanta's staff has expanded from 18 to over 75 employees under the largest board-approved operating budget to date. And this is to serve additional students in more schools and districts, most recently Clayton County. So lots to talk about. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the show our friend, Frank Brown. Hey, Frank, how are you?
I'm good, Seth. Happy to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, my pleasure. You were recommended, and I would say not just recommended, but highly recommended. So it's a real pleasure to have you. But Frank,
I don't disappoint.
no. I saw your video. I know you can't disappoint.
Thank you.
I got a chance to see that, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. But first, it's Coffee Connection. So we got to start with a little coffee talk. Do you drink coffee?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
he does. Let's see that mug there, Frank.
Yes, sir. Got my Starbucks right here.
Is that your go-to? Is that where you
Well,
go?
I can't
Starbucks?
say that Coke is a big sponsor of ours, so I just happen to have a Starbucks cup today.
Okay. Well, Coke isn't in the coffee business as much as I'm aware. Do they have a coffee product? I don't think so. I'm surprised they don't. What's up with that, Coke?
I think Pepsi owns Starbucks. Didn't Pepsi have an interest in Starbucks? I thought Pepsi had some.
I don't know. I'm thinking Super Bowl, and I don't remember seeing Starbucks in the Super Bowl. Do you? Although all those dancers might have been on Starbucks. So do you drink coffee every day?
I try to. Yes, I do. At least one cup.
Okay. Do you have a preference in the summer? Do you prefer iced coffee in the summer, or is it hot all year round?
I stick to my white chocolate mocha.
Okay.
I just stay with that.
All right. So you prefer to get it pre-made. You don't like making it at home?
No, sir, I don't. Otherwise, I have to go pull up.
Well, Frank, from what I understand, the amount of serving you do for the community, I think it's okay that you get served every day. I think it's a balance, my man.
Thank you, sir.
Well, why don't we? I'm going to hand over the mic to you. Will you tell everyone about Communities in schools of Atlanta?
It's one of the most unbelievable experiences of my life. It started here in 1972 by Neil Shorthouse and Bill Milliken, and they simply were two white guys who moved down here from New York who were trying to. They saw a need. A lot of black kids were disconnected, not in school, so they started these kind of street academies, and they were in Riches, the bottom of department stores. They were over at St. Luke's Episcopal Church. And what started in 1972 is now spread to 26 states, including the District of Columbia. And
Wow.
collectively, the CIS network serves about 1.5 million kids all over this country. So I tell my staff, very few people are fortunate enough to be blessed to lead something that started something local and spread nationally. So our brand has been around 50 years. And that means a lot. I mean, in these days and times, people are looking to government that has failed and looking to nonprofits, and some of them are failing, unfortunately. And people just need consistency. And I'm so proud of this brand. Today, we're in 57 schools here in Atlanta, as you mentioned, at APS, Fulton County, Clayton County, and DeKalb County. I'm equally excited about the new lines of business we started since I arrived 6 years ago. We have a foster care program that we run in coordination with MAC that deals with disconnected foster care kids here in Atlanta. And surrounding counties outside of the metro area. We have a 21st century after school STEM program. As you know, African Americans are very underrepresented in the STEM fields. And so to have a Georgia Tech here, and I saw some pictures when I went over to Georgia Tech. How can we have Georgia Tech here and have some of the worst math scores in the state right here in the metro area? It's just unfathomable. We have some of the brightest professors in the world who are literally right down the street from some of the kids who are most disconnected from achievement as far as math and reading. I saw a study from Redefine Ed that said that after the pandemic, only 3 out of 10 Black kids in Atlanta will be proficient in writing and math. That's unacceptable. So Atlanta was already the epicenter of income inequality before COVID, 2 years in a row. You would have never thought that with everything that was going on and how the economy was doing. But I have been out here I felt like in the wilderness, screaming and yelling and trying to get people's attention about just the vast disparities for kids of color here in this city. For example, the median income for Black families in APS is only $23,000, while their white counterparts is $167,000. This is in last year. That's just unfathomable in a city that there are more African Americans making over $200,000 than any other city in the country right here in Atlanta. But the thing is, most of us are transplants. So that means that there's an underbelly of poverty here. We just recently started over at Thomasville Heights, over there by the federal prison in downtown Atlanta. Horrific situation. The median income for parents over there is $9,700. So we have children right here in Atlanta who might as well go to a third world country because that's the experience they have. And it's unbelievable in a city with Dr. King and Maynard Jackson and C.T. Vivian and just lions of history who made marks that changed the world. And right here in their own backyard, some of the poorest of the poor in America. It just gives you pause because it was bad before COVID. You hear economists saying that it's going to take 5 to 6 years to move these communities back to where they were before, and we're asking, well, where were they before? So for us, we have the chance. We reach about 44,000 kids every day in 4 school districts across Metro Atlanta. We have about 2,500 of those kids on our caseload. So how we work is very simple. It's no rocket science. We place loving adults in the schools, in low-performing schools at the request of superintendents and principals. And we work hand in hand to build site plans that are based off each individual school's needs. School A might have a totally different issue than school B, but all of the schools we work in have one big issue, and that's poverty. And to see the reckoning that is going on in America, to see that corporations are stepping up and understanding that they must do more. I feel good about this moment, but we just can't have it be a moment. I told our mission is very simple: is to surround kids with a community of support, empower them to stay in school and achieve in life. In 1972, getting them out of high school was enough. That's not enough in our economy. Two-thirds of the jobs in today's economy require some post-high school certification.
Mm-hmm.
So graduating poor and Black, brown kids from low-performing schools is not enough. We want every child that we work with to be a full participant in the American dream. And when we say that, a homeowner, a taxpayer, a husband, a wife, a leader, we want them to be assets to their community, not liabilities. So for me, and I apologize, I can't get my notifications to go off.
Well, I mean, they're going to go off the whole time. You're a very popular, very busy man. So
I'm so sorry, but
just to show how valuable his time is, folks.
I mean, but
it's all good.
I tell people all the time, it's not me though. It's not me. It's the people we put in these schools. They're the most important asset of this organization, of the entire network. They are the ones who answer the bell 7 days a week. We work 12 months a year, 7 days a week, because with the child, the emergency never happens during the week. It always happens on Saturday or Sunday. And I'm so proud that since COVID broke out in May, since schools let out in March or May, through December of 2020, we've given out almost $500,000 in emergency assistance, direct aid for 1,700 families. The majority of those requests were for housing. The second one was for food and utility, and the third one was utilities, and the fourth category, I think, was COVID funerals. So not only are what we're doing every day with the 44,000 kids we have access to, what I'm really proud of, we're now supporting 107 kids in college. Imagine if you are disconnected here in Atlanta and you need our services, if you get a big time scholarship, we have several kids, at least 10 of them with D1 scholarships, starting at Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Kentucky, Oklahoma State. And we have them focused that the NFL is the second option. The first option is getting their degree. We had Devontae Wyatt, who could have gone in this year's draft at University of Georgia. He reached out to us and said, Mr. Brown, I'm going back to school. I'm too close to my degree. And so for me, that's the change. We are literally transferring kids out of situations of hopelessness into being full participants in the American dream.
Right. Well, I want to talk about that because, see, to me, that's something that's always been the underlying question is you have these kids that are growing up in poverty. All they see is poverty. They go to school. Maybe they get a break. Maybe they get someone to influence them. But if they don't have that, and they're just being pushed to the side, they don't have the view of that anything can happen. Right. So how do you fix that? How do you address that? You mentioned you have these folks in the schools, but how does that all work?
I mean, that's our site coordinator. The essence of the great thing about our job is we're not in there. We're not tutors. So we do 3 levels of service. So the first level of service we do is whole school. So if we bring an anti-bullying campaign through, we bring a college fair through a high school, everybody in the school could participate. The second tier of service we give is akin to a group model where we take 10 to 15 kids who have similarly situated risks, whether it's risky sexual behavior, cessation of smoking, and we can work with kids on a group level. And our Cadillac service is our case managed service. That's the list of kids that each school gives us, about 40 to 50 kids who are most at risk based off their test scores, their attendance, and their behaviors of either dropping out or not being promoted to the next grade. Of the 2,000 kids we had on our caseload last year, 99% of those kids stayed in school, and 97% of them either graduated or earned promotion to the next grade. So for us, and we've been doing that since I got here, our promotion and graduation rate has been hovering around that high 90s. We had a strategic plan that said over 95% of our kids must either graduate from high school on time or earn promotion to the next grade. So for us, it's an evidence-based model. I think a lot of nonprofits really have to understand that corporations, foundations, government entities you partner with, you have to produce data. The days of saying you made impact and not proving it are over. So for me, I'm very proud of the way we run this business of the nonprofit. Every year, my audits are clean, 0 findings. And so I'm very proud of that. You have for-profit companies that can't say that. I have reserves that have grown bigger than they've ever been since I've been here, that we have not drawn down through this crisis, not one time. So, and more importantly, we gave out the biggest bonus in our company's history of almost $250,000 this past June to all of our employees who made under $100,000, because you can't say that they're the most valuable asset and you're not putting your money where your mouth is as far as investing in them, because we don't sell cars or Chick-fil-A sandwiches. It's a human service, and it must be impactful and move the needle. So it's just a loving adult who's there. We do parental workshops. We give out emergency financial assistance to all the parents on our case managed service program. We do trips. We've taken kids all over. I've taken, and you saw it in the movie, we've taken kids everywhere from the White House to LA, out to the Mattel's international headquarters, to Broadway plays in New York. We just want to expose them, because I'm one of those kids. But for me being exposed, as you saw with my story, but for me getting an opportunity to attend one of the most elite schools in Charleston, I wouldn't be here speaking to you today. It changed my whole viewpoint of what was possible, and it gave me relationships that, as you saw in the movie, were so valuable to help me get through law school when I was having just tough time just adjusting.
Yeah, it's things like after school programs. I mean, sports are huge. Music's another huge one. Do you partner with any other organizations like say like Atlanta Music? It's AMC. I'm trying to think of the Atlanta Music. Any groups like that?
Yeah, we run an after school program out in Fulton County ourselves, and we're trying to expand that. So we want to operate after school programming ourselves, because that gives us more time with the child to extend the day. So for us, we partnered with Morehouse School of Medicine. They did programming, and they came in and taught coding to our kids. My Leadership Atlanta classmate, Jimmy Etheridge, who's the CEO of Accenture North America, just gave us a grant for coding. Accenture has a coding program that we're going to start implementing in our after school program, but also with our middle and high school kids who don't have a chance to go to that program. So
with those kids though, I mean, you mentioned you said the word third world, which is true. It's like so crazy to think that people are living in a third world in Atlanta, but yes, it's totally true. Yeah. How do they work on coding if they don't have a laptop? And how? And I want to tie this.
Well, the good thing is most of our metro, and I want to say, stop for a minute and thank the partnerships, the superintendents, Dr. Beasley out in Clayton County, Dr. Looney out in Fulton, Dr. Herring in APS, Dr. Cheryl Watson, Harris Watson in DeKalb. They have a tough job. They're at the center of the firestorm, and I just want to thank them for entrusting us and partnering with us. The school districts have a tough time, so they have given out a lot of laptops. And more importantly, we've given out almost over 300 laptops and hotspots. And we have different organizations. I must admit, the corporate world has stepped in. Roar Capital has stepped in with us. Cox Automotive Enterprise has stepped in with us. We have a bevy of corporations who have helped and given us COVID emergency funding to do those things of buying laptops. So the school districts themselves have the problem is housing. If they're transient and they're moving to school, and you don't have Wi-Fi at one place and then they have it at another, what's the use of having a laptop if you don't have a place to stay? It gets even bigger than just hotspots connections. This is about, we're trying to hold people through the storm so they don't go under.
Right. That was the first thing when COVID hit. I was thinking about the families that the kids go to school, and that's like where they got the most healthiest meal of their week, during the day.
I mean, think about COVID's impact on kids of color in particular. The CDC said recently that 78% of the infections a couple of months ago were Black and brown kids, and they were 8 and 5 times more likely to have to be hospitalized. So when you add COVID's effect health-wise on our communities, the devastating deaths here in Georgia, those now, I think we got 7,000 people died here in Georgia already. A lot of those are people of color. And then you talk about the economic impact. COVID hit a lot of people 40,000 and under. That's our parent. That's that extra job they had at the airport that's now gone.
Right.
that's the job the uncle had that now he was adding to the housing and the provision. That's gone. So, there's a health crisis, unlike 9/11, where it was a kind of one off, or the financial crisis in '08, where it was about housing mainly. This is a health and economic crisis that has cascaded into schools being closed literally for a year.
Right, and that's the concern also, is how the education gap that
uh,
many are worried about, and how, because if you're already, you're talking about some of the STEM programs and all this, which is fantastic, but there's a whole other side that's going to come in to get people back up to speed. That just, because you don't know where how everyone leveled out. I mean, my son goes to outdoor classrooms, but I don't even know if how many schools are back in sessions. Is Atlanta all back now, or is it
well,
still?
they're doing over. I think Atlanta has their elementary kids in, so a lot of people are going to hybrids.
Yeah,
Fulton
hybrids, right?
County has been back longer than everybody else. Clayton County has not come back, and I think DeKalb is trying to do younger age kids, and it's difficult.
Yeah,
This is not. I mean, for me, we don't have to really worry about that because we have people, and people are movable. We can phone. We can go to that house. We can do a whole lot more than a kind of static, organization as Titanic as a school district could do. We can move our assets and our people really strategically to make sure that the service doesn't miss a beat.
that's
Um,
good.
and I think that's the thing that we've seen is that the economic pain, the mental health stress on our parents and on our children for being disconnected, and I just worry and I pray that President Biden's plan works. We
Right.
need
Well,
some leadership. We
and
need.
also, you mentioned how a lot of the people in the colored community, they're more prone to get COVID and whatnot. But what about the vaccine and educating folks that it's okay to get the vaccine, and that's a serious hurdle to get over.
It's a real hurdle, and it goes back to the systematic,
Hmm.
racism issue. I mean, we got Tuskegee, we got a host
Yeah.
of things that Black and Brown people have gone through. Whether the Indians with the smallpox
Right.
vaccination, tears, Trail of Tears, there have been some historical things that leave people. Even when Hank Aaron died, do you know that Black people really looked when Hank Aaron died a week after getting his
Week after.
vaccination? A week
Exactly.
after
Yeah.
getting his vaccination,
Yeah.
that caused people naturally. Wait a minute, Hank Aaron
Yeah.
was pretty healthy, and you still don't know why he died. So these are things that realities that we must deal with. I
Yeah.
will get a vaccine. I will encourage everybody around me to get a vaccine because that's the responsible thing to do. But you have to acknowledge this is. I saw an economist that said that racism cost America $16 trillion in economic activity.
Hmm.
$16 trillion, I believe, was the number I saw of the economic impact of what racism has done to the economy of America. And so for me, it's about evening the playing field for the kids that don't have it. 99% of the kids on our caseload are poor, Black and Hispanic kids. I want to talk about our Latinx kids too.
Yeah.
10% of our caseload today is Latinx kids. They have a whole host of issues that are totally separate from some of the issues that my African American kids deal with, but still barriers. Some of my African American kids have the problem with, do I get home? Do I get through this gang violence or whatever's going just to get home?
Hmm.
My Hispanic kids might go home and everybody has been deported or taken by ICE, which is equally a barrier and devastating to your morale and your psyche. So we've developed this Latin Excellence Program. That's a new initiative. I have Jonathan and Rigo, some great kids we just hired. It's going to be about housing. It's going to be about immigration education, about their rights, about getting scholarships. I saw some movement. Somebody introduced a bill, I think, in Georgia to try to get them some funding for kids who are here undocumented. They're here. And CIS of Atlanta is here to serve those children as diligently as we serve our African American children. That population will probably be 15 to 20% of my work in the next 5 to 10 years. And we're working on a strategic plan that incorporates that happening, incorporates our alumni affairs work. We're talking to, for example, I just had a conversation with the president, Morris Brown. I had a conversation with the president, Gordon State. And we're going to set up partnerships with these schools to create pipelines of
Right.
kids we go there. We're going to do joint fundraising agreements with these schools so we can create a CIS scholars program that they will be there. They will have a cohort, and then ultimately put a site coordinator at that school.
Right.
Because our mission is very broad. It doesn't say it stops at high school. It stops to stay there as long as they stay in school. So for us, it's about getting them to college. Every kid might not go to college. I don't want to just cast a broad brush that college is the only solution we're pursuing.
Right.
A lot of our kids might have to go to technical school, might want to go to technical school and become a plumber, electrician. That's a valuable six-figure job. Some of them might choose the military because they need the discipline and they want the adventure of travel, of serving their country. We got to be intentional about making that possible. And more importantly, some of them might be entrepreneurs. They could do hair, they could code. They might want to start their own business. We need to be setting them up with the SBA and other entities and other partners who can help them make that a reality. So
right.
we want them to be full participants in the American dream. And that's how we're going about building it.
That's beautiful. And the secret to your sauce, of course, are the individuals at the schools and their
Absolutely.
boots on the ground. And I think that's wonderful. But it costs money to do this. And it's not just in Atlanta. So my first question is, when it comes to raising money for CIS, do you get money nationally or is each CIS localized?
So the CIS network collectively raises about $200 million. So it's not a small, network as far as when you macro what we do. Here in Atlanta, we have about a $6 million budget. I want to thank my board chair, Eric Barnum, my board vice chair, Chris Christie. My board is amazing. A lot of people, don't give credit to their boards, but I'm going to tell you, I got a hell of a board that really understands their role of oversight, of making sure that the brand is represented well. They understand their fiduciary responsibilities to make sure no foolishness is going on with the money or anything like that. But you got to have relationships. And I just want to thank my board's leadership and all of my board members. We just added Rourke Capital. We added Delta Community Federal Credit Union. We just added, we're about to add the CEO of Mercedes-Benz Canada is about to join our board shortly at the next board meeting. So
your board's not all Atlanta-based individuals?
No, it's actually going to turn in. It looks like it's going to grow. I mean, with technology, they don't have to be here. I tell people all the time, and I have to, in order to do what I want to do, I have to raise money all over the country.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've set this organization up. The movie is an example of that. We submitted it into film festivals all over the country. It won in Nashville at the International Black Film Festival. We were in the Charlotte Black Film. So we want this message resonates. Nobody is really trying to do what we're doing. That's to carry kids from third grade all the way to a college graduation and make sure that their families are okay.
And making sure their families are okay. That's a big mission. That is a really big mission. It's a beautiful one too. You mentioned but how much of your fundraising comes from individuals? Is it mostly corporations?
The majority of our money comes from fee for service. Our biggest contributors are our school districts. Half, $3 million of my budget comes directly from contracts from school districts. So that's why I'm very thankful for our strong relationships. And the other half is foundations, individuals, and corporations. So it's pretty evenly mixed.
Well, I could tell people if you're enjoying what you're hearing and you want to give, go to cisatlanta.org and you can make a donation there. And definitely check out the site. It's a great site. Lots of resources there. If someone wants to, how does someone become one of your boots on the ground?
I mean, you can go to our website. We're always looking for good people. We're looking to expand next year. I want to stop and go back one thing. We have our 17th annual Choose Success Awards dinner. When you go on our website, please click into that. This year, we're honoring Scott Mills, the president of BET Networks, and that gives you a sense that I'm going to another level as far as our fundraising. Yeah, BET gave us $500,000 through their COVID telethon in the spring, and we thought it was appropriate to honor BET
Very much so.
And Scott Mills. So and then we're also honoring Alston and Bird. They've been pro bono counsel for us for years, one of the first class law firms in the world. And we wouldn't be where we are today without their legal counsel and help. So those are going to be our two honorees. So that's April 28th.
Is that virtual or in person? Okay, virtual.
It's going to be virtual. So go on our website and you can look at the save the date and all the information out there. and
Wonderful.
sign up to our constant contact. So, but it's going to be virtual. We would like for you to be there, Seth. We'd like for your whole community to join us. We think it's going to be a fabulous event.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we'll talk more about that. I want to hear more about your plans and on that. But as we're running out of time, and I really thank you for all the time you've offered. Is there anything else that we didn't cover on a conversation that you just wanted to share?
I just want to say, leading is hard. And I know you bring leaders on here, and I just want to really deflect back to it's not me. I believe I work with some of the most amazing human beings and American heroes who answer the bell when me and you are asleep at night, who go and get kids out of situations where their life is literally on the line, who pay bills and take care of needs and food needs without ever complaining. I just want people to know that our site coordinators represent the best of America.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an honor to lead them. It's an honor to work with them. And they inspire me every day to do more.
Well, it sounds like it's very circular. It sounds like your leadership and their leadership echo each other, because from what I gather, just from what I've seen, there's you all really connect with the students and care about them, and the care is so present. And for someone so young that might not have the relationships at home to be able to get that from you all, it's so valuable and so important. And it's honestly what's going to make a difference in their lives. And I said secret sauce before. I'm going to say it again, though. That's the real secret sauce. The amount of care that comes out of your organization. It's heartwarming. So thank you so much for what you all do.
Thank you. I mean, I hate to cry, but it's a lot. We've been through a lot in the last year. The people we serve have been through hell. They've lost lives. They've lost grandmothers. They've lost teachers. They've lost
the ability to mourn. Like that's the other thing. It's not only did they lose their grandparents, but they lost the ability to mourn them in a healthy way. Like that our society's created ways for us to mourn and have funerals and have gatherings and this sort of stuff. And to say no, you can't. Yeah. That's a lot of deep pain. And I really think that as hard as things have been, I hate to say they get harder. It's just the Band-Aid's going to get ripped off, and we're going to see a lot of things that we were unaware.
I mean, you're already seeing it. You see kids out in Las Vegas killing themselves. You see,
oh man,
parents and fighting each other, and mental health issues and drug abuse and alcoholism, and our kids are getting the brunt of that. And I think that I just hope people understand that we need help. There's an underbelly of poverty here in Atlanta that we must get to. We must help. We cannot have Black and brown kids disconnected from the American dream, because they will come. Look at Buckhead. I hear all the complaints now about what's going on in Buckhead.
Yeah.
Because now you can't hide from it.
Uh-huh.
It's better that you help me educate those children,
because
you will pay for it on the backside when you got to pay $50,000 a year for them to be in prison.
Yeah.
So so for me, help us, donate, come in, volunteer, care.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I hope that we walk away with is empathy is still alive and well. Compassion, kindness, looking out for your neighbor. That's what CIS is all about, and I'm so proud.
Well, you said something very important right there. A lot of folks, if Black Lives Matter, if you're going to say that and you're going to do that, then you can actually put your words to action by going to CISAtlanta.org and getting involved. That's the real difference, and I think that's a big point. So like you mentioned with Buckhead, if we want to make a difference, there's ways to do it. And that's one thing I love about what I'm able to do here on Coffee Connections, be able to highlight organizations like yourself. So people that really want to make a difference, just look and see. There's so many great organizations, and this being one of them.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's why I do these platforms, because you got to get the message out. I think as a leader, your job is to get the message out, is to shine, to set up the environment where people can appreciate the work that these 57 unsung heroes are doing every day for thousands of kids. That one thing I know is I get thank you notes so much. And, not that you get immune to that, and not at all, but that's how I know that there's an energy out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
And
Frank,
everybody,
I mentioned how my mom passed away, and one of the things when she passed away was the number of she was a teacher in
mm,
her profession, and I was cleaning up her office, and she had boxes of
thank
these
you.
notes, and I would just go through a couple of them, and just I mean, it's amazing when someone really opens their heart with a sincere thank you. You
Yeah,
can't throw it out, It's
no, you
it's
can't.
it's
You can't. And so for me, that's why every time I'm on anything public, I want to thank those people. I know some of them are
uh,
watching, I know some of them are working, but what they do matters. And they've helped thousands of kids avoid the cold, being hungry, no lights, not being able to bury their family member because they didn't have burial insurance. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's
and then also one thing is it's happening all across the country. I have colleagues all see
right.
Charlotte, LA, Philly, Houston, and I think that's collectively makes me feel good that poor kids across this country, both rural and urban settings, are being taken care of.
Yeah. Well, the more chances we can give folks, the more direction, the better, because you don't always get it at home, and if you can get it at school from the right people, that's where the difference can be made. So, I want to thank you again for your time. And before we go, I have every guest recommend a future guest and
Right.
another nonprofit innovator here in Atlanta. Is there someone you'd like to recommend for
I
Coffee
recommend
Connections?
Kwame Johnson from Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I reached out to Kwame. He said he would be interested in coming on. He actually used to work at CIS National,
Oh
so
wow. Okay,
he came here to Atlanta, and I made a promise to him that I would open up doors for him. So
that'd be
uh,
great.
I would recommend Kwame Johnson. He's doing great things over there at Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I think he was named one of the most admired CEOs by Atlanta Business Chronicle. Good brother, good story, and equally passionate about what we're doing with the children.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Again, I mean, everyone, we all say thank you, but we mean it. So
Oh,
enjoy the
check
rest
out
of your
Beat the
week.
Odds. You can
Oh,
catch
go ahead.
Beat the Odds on our website.
Hmm.
Our award-winning short film, and actually, it's about to be placed on WSB's app. So if you have the app WSB Channel 2, you can go catch it on there too pretty soon. So please be on the lookout for the next one that's coming probably early
Uh,
next fall.
all right. Well, if I see it, I will be sure to put it back out through our social medias to share as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you do. And this is a great show. And please have a platform for people to come on and really talk about the great work that's going on, not just myself, but other leaders all across the city.
Absolutely. All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Actually, I'll see you Thursday, but next week back in Atlanta. Thanks. Have a good day.